Here we
Isn't it?
go. Damien, are you going to
Um,
start us off or what?
sure. I'm all lost. Live. We're not from the Bitcoin Center, Matt. You don't know where we are. We're from Climate Pledge Arena
Oh,
in the 74-acre entertainment complex known as Seattle Center, the site of the 1962 World's Fair in Seattle, Washington. That's where we are.
oh, I didn't.
Climate
That's why I
Pledge
didn't
Arena.
recognize it. It's colder.
It's Championship Monday here at Business Pants.
Yeah. Where's my
Woo!
championship music?
I can't get
I
mine to
want
play.
champions.
I am also struggling to get it to play.
Okay, so it's a technical glitch.
Riverside, you're killing me.
Come on, Riverside. All right, well, you have to imagine the music, sadly. Joined as always by the Lurkstress and the Mattress. I'm Jim Nance's soup taster, and today's bag full of discarded muffin tops called April 4th, 2022, a day of true champions, the winners of our Match Sadness tournament, and the winners, potentially, of Elon Musk's new ownership stake in Twitter. This is a day of winners.
That's right. It's so many winners today. I better
Yeah.
be one of them. I'm going to be really pissed if I didn't win this championship after
We're
the
the
refs flub last week.
we are the true winners. Elon Musk buying a huge ownership stake in Twitter means that Business Pants, the organization, are the winners. Really, we're the winners. So
Free
much to
Float
talk
Media
about.
wins.
Before we get to that, let me quickly let's wrap up our March Sadness tournament. We played our championship game. It just finished this morning.
Whoa.
Did we just the scores rolled in, and it
Again, no
didn't
music.
seem that surprising. It seemed we went
No
kind of
music?
chalk in the end. No, there's no music. No one can get it to
Oh,
play because
all right.
it's a Riverside. It's not us. It's not us. It's somebody else.
Don't blame our provider. All
Yeah,
right,
we
for
still love
They're
anyone,
actually
Riverside.
generally great. So this,
if
if you're
This is a
listening,
fluke.
Riverside,
It's fine.
this is a fluke.
if we actually have people listening live, sorry, you suck for listening live. It was a dumb idea. You should have listened to the podcast where Emma has put in the music right now. All right.
Yes, she
That's
has.
right. That's
The
right.
winner of the March Sadness Tournament 2022 in a blowout. No surprises here. The winner is Amazon.
Wow.
Needs a care.
Yeah.
Which
None of
I
us.
think it's kind of fitting. I mean, look, just this weekend, the huge news broke that an Amazon warehouse in Staten Island is unionizing. I think this is really
Yeah.
perfect. I think this proves our game is absolute science, right?
It,
This proves
I think scientists
it's
agree.
incredible. I think it's an incredible moment here in stakeholder capitalism. I really
Science where none of our hypotheses turned out correctly.
do. No. I think you're wrong actually. But here we go. Amazon destroys Salesforce 3-0. Let's go category by category. We'll go quickly here, and no surprises and sucks. Amazon takes that 17-0. And greenwashing, a little bit of controversy. Salesforce had its only press release thrown out because it was actually about. It was called Salesforce completes acquisition of Fenix, and the refs determined that's just a routine M&A. That's the
Yeah.
kind of thing you're supposed to disclose anyway,
That was
not
a
a
good call.
greenwash.
This is a makeup call a little bit from last week's bad calls.
Yeah.
It's
So Amazon took it on this juicy greenwashing headline, bringing overlooked African ingredients to American tables.
there.
Absolutely true, Emma. You're rolling
Oh,
your
yeah.
eyes. This is an actual
No,
press release
I'm
from
sure it
Amazon.
is. I believe you. I really do.
And again, a little bit of controversy because they also had one called Statement from Amazon on Staten Island Union Vote. And is that a greenwash? I don't know. It doesn't matter. They've already won the category with that African ingredients one. But
I don't know. Nothing beats the African ingredients to American tables. Nothing beats
And
that.
to mark the brilliance of the March Sadness tournament, let me just tell you what the statement from Amazon is on the Staten Island Union Vote, proving that they really are the champions of the March Sadness tournament. Instead of honoring the workers, here's what they said: "We're disappointed with the outcome of the election in Staten Island because we believe having a direct
Really?
relationship with the company is best for our employees." Blah 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 blah. We're evaluating our options, including filing objections based on the inappropriate and undue influence by the National Labor Relations Board and others we witnessed in this election. So they're already crying foul. They're
Wow,
not
fighting.
honoring their workers. They're already playing the role of the pissant. So there you go. They're the true winners, March Sadness. And to end the tournament, I will also say that today Salesforce, their price is up. And way more than Amazon. So it's a full sweep. Full sweep. There you go. That's the
Do
tournament.
we have
Yeah.
someone who's getting some free float swag?
We have a
That's
winner.
the only thing that matters.
And despite the fact that he is wearing Free Float Media swag, you're not going to be getting another item of clothing for free, Matt. I actually did the math here, so this isn't just like me just willy-nilly doing this.
It's already dubious.
No, I did the
Damien
math.
doing math is not. No.
I have it on in my notebook here to prove it. The final score is actually 30-24. You're close, Matt. But you got taken down by someone named O'Shea. And the only real reason you actually overall, I think you picked more winners, especially at the beginning of the tournament. But O'Shea
we were all doing well at the beginning of the tournament.
No, Matt was doing well. But at the end, O'Shea had 3 of 4 in the final 4, and those wins in the late rounds, based on your scoring system, Matt, that you created in the past, gave O'Shea more points in the end.
Except
O'Shea's the winner.
If the refs had gotten the call on Friday correct, what's the final score? This guy gets some swag.
No,
all right, O'Shea.
Yeah.
We will reach out to you, O'Shea, and find out exactly how big of business pants you want to wear.
I don't like the way
we'll figure that out. We'll send you some swag. And guess what? When O'Shea gets his swag, it's going to be on the Etsy store, and you can buy the swag too. Maybe in your own sizes. Maybe extra businessy.
Before we wrap up this Match Sadness tournament, I want to reiterate that Matt is a liar and is wrong. The refs did not in any way influence the outcome of that Apple Salesforce match, because if Apple had taken the sucks category, Salesforce in the tiebreaker would have won that game based on the fact that its share price sucked more than Apple. So forget it. Just forget it, Matt. Forget it.
No, I'm sorry. I disagree.
There's no disagree.
I'm going to issue a statement about undue influence of Damien Rollis's notebook.
It's extremely annoying that I don't have control of my media board right now, because we would be done.
There's a lot of blah, blah, blah going on. All right. I'm going to pass over the mic. Matt, do you want me to set up what happened at Twitter, or do you want to just roll with it?
I'll just go right into it. In case
Twitter. Come on.
In case you thought it was ever safe to go on baby leave, Parag Agrawal, who's the new CEO of Twitter, you just found out, no, it's not safe. You can never rest. Here is the headline from this morning. Musk takes 9% stake in Twitter to become top shareholder. That's right. Elon Musk is now the largest shareholder in Twitter. Pop quiz. What does a billionaire do when they're annoyed that the megaphone they have isn't loud enough? You buy the megaphone company. That's what you do.
Absolutely
if 33 million followers isn't enough for you, which actually, quick side note, the word followers, is that kind of derogatory? We're like followers, like everyone's just like hanging on, following them around, like in real life.
The way it's supposed to be.
Didn't Jesus have followers? What were those 12 people called?
Yeah.
It's the worst. It's really the worst. I don't like it. But
but do you realize
33 million.
Wait, Matt, can I just say that, do you realize that Jesus had 12 and Elon Musk has 33 million?
I
do the math
know.
there.
Well,
we're getting into dangerous territory.
Elon's
by
a true
Jesus
winner,
and
I think, in every way. Keep going.
I'm just saying. Elon's number 49 on the follower list. He's not even that. He's like well below like Rihanna and Justin Bieber. Barack Obama has 130 million. He's number 1.
Oh,
something like that. Yeah. But if 33 million followers, acolytes, isn't enough for you, Elon Musk is spending about $3 billion, or about 50% of world hunger, out of his $260 billion fortune, to buy the 9% stake in a company that was too pro-Africa for Silver Lake and Scott Galloway's taste.
Well,
side note, every time. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's funny.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep interrupting you. I'm sure. It's funny you mentioned Africa, because remember the fear was that when Jack Dorsey disappeared to Africa, some bad stuff might happen. Parag disappeared to Babyland. How do we know his baby's room isn't painted with African motifs? Maybe there's like some zebras on the wall, or it's the same thing. It's the same.
He went to Africa on paternity leave. You don't know.
Where was Scott Galloway? Was he complaining about paternity leave? He should have been.
No. No,
I'm gonna stop
wasn't.
interrupting.
Also, every time a billionaire buys something from now on, I think the headline should actually be discussed as a ratio of world hunger. So, like, for instance, billionaire spends 2% of world hunger solution on super yacht. I feel like that's actually more accurate than like you spent $3 billion. I'd like it relative to the $6 billion it would take to cure world hunger for a year. All right. Well, Elon just took twice the stake that activist Silver Lake took 2 years ago at Twitter. Silver Lake ended up taking a couple of board seats for a year and then whittled it down to just one board seat now. But they had like 3 or 4 board seats. So the real question here is, and they actually arguably quietly ousted Jack Dorsey. Like 2 years later, Dorsey stepped down as CEO. No one ascribes it directly to Silver Lake, but, you know, I'm pretty sure we can read the tea leaves and say, you know, that die was cast when they bought their stake.
I suppose.
Now,
I think I sense he wanted to get the hell out of there anyway. But yeah.
Well, I mean, like, he probably would have stayed if not for that activist stake, even if they didn't force him out. Them showing up was probably enough for him to be like, "What? Wait, why the fuck am I doing this? This is like obnoxious to me." But now Elon's got twice the stake, and I think we're in for like a Game of Thrones, just at a higher level. I'm calling it. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna play the game of twits. That's what we're gonna do.
Game of twits.
The game of twits, in which we answer the burning question: who on Twitter's board kisses Elon's ass first? That's the question everybody wants to know. Are you ready to play? You two are playing.
Yeah, I'm
first
ready.
Because no one else is here. Or listen, yeah, first, fastest, first and fastest.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna do this 3 ways. First,
thank God,
I'm going to read off the names only of the board members with no other information, and you are going to guess who sounds like they would kiss Elon's ring fastest, just by their name. Next, I'm going to give you some bio information about the board members, like who's a secret libertarian, and you are going to then say, no, that person seems most likely. And then I am going to answer the question for you with stats using influence and how they're connected with Elon and who's likely to throw him some love first. Are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
I've been ready. Come on.
All right, round 1. Here are the names, and we're excluding both Parag Agrawal, who's the current CEO, and Jack Dorsey, the founder and ex-CEO. We're excluding them. So everybody else.
Okay, I don't get that part of it.
That's what we're doing. No, it's happening. Number 1, Brett Taylor.
Oh, what are we supposed to be saying, Emma? What are we supposed to be doing?
You're just listening to the names.
We're listening right now,
Who
Damien.
sounds like they would kiss Elon's ass first, okay? Brett Taylor. Mimi Alamejo. Or who? Alamehu. Something like that. Egon Durbin. Martha Lane Fox. Omid Kordestani. Dr. Fei Lee. Patrick Pichette. David Rosenblatt, and Robert Zoellick.
Well, this one seems obvious. This is like the obvious game, right?
Well, then be obvious. Tell me who's obvious. I don't think it's
going to be
the
the science fiction character Egon Durbin? Wouldn't that be the one who would
No.
right?
No,
No.
I disagree.
No,
I totally
you're wrong.
disagree.
You're wrong. Go ahead and disagree.
Okay, but you're going with Egon Durbin?
I mean,
with Egon Durbin.
come on.
Right out of the
What are we
bat.
doing here?
Okay.
This is
No.
child's play.
I'm going Martha Lane Fox for
You're
the
crazy.
reason of
As
the
like a
triple
fox.
name. I'm thinking Marjorie Taylor Greene, Martha Lane Fox.
Ah.
That's sort of where my head's at.
Also,
Barack
every
Hussein
assassin.
Obama.
Every
Yeah.
assassin. So true.
All right, so just by name
Terrible
only,
logic.
Damien's guessing Egon Durbin is going to lick the soles of Elon Musk's feet, and Emma is guessing Martha Lane Fox will give him a big twitty embrace. And now I'm going to give you some bios. Ready for round 2?
Yep.
Round 1 was
2.
riveting. Let's do round 2.
I'm a riveted.
Yeah.
Brett Taylor, he's been the director since 2016. He's the co-CEO of Salesforce.
Right.
Also was the CEO of Quip, CTO of Facebook, CEO of FriendFeed, everybody's favorite social media network. He was the creator of Google Maps. And yes, he is ex-Libertarian University. That is Stanford.
What does the creator of Google Maps mean? Like,
he made Google Maps, like programmed. He's like a Google Map.
He doesn't just take credit for Google Maps.
Well,
maybe. Either way.
He probably ran the team.
My question.
He didn't actually get out his legal pad and like code it, I'm sure. Listen, and they do code on legal pad, you know. They don't actually do it into computers.
Yeah, I wasn't aware.
Does Salesforce have a Stanford connection that I'm not aware of? Is Mark Benioff also attached to Stanford? I don't even really know this.
Salesforce.
I don't think so.
You don't think
no,
so?
Not Mark Benioff anyway.
Does have, I believe, a PayPal mafia connection somewhere.
All right, well, just because I'm playing along a little bit on the side here are my keywords for Brett Taylor. Co-CEO, Facebook, Google, Stanford. Those are my keywords.
Those keywords will pop up multiple times.
Okay.
Here's number 2, Mimi Alamejo.
Yeah.
She's a new director, senior vice president at MasterCard. She was an MD at Black Rhino Group, which is owned by Blackstone. But before you get angsty, she's an Obama appointee for Africa stuff, basically. Like she was also a George W. Bush pick for African Development Bank. The only thing to take away from her is Africa. She was
Here are my
Dorsey,
keywords.
Africa.
That's true. Here are my keywords: Blackstone, Obama, Bush. But you're right, Africa. I mean, that's
Africa.
something.
You missed the whole point, which was
no
Africa.
Blackstone, Obama, Bush.
She's not in there for those things. She's in there for Africa. All right. Number 3 is Egon Durbin. This is Damien's name choice for Twitter's suck at Elon's ass.
But Emma, when you hear who Egon Durbin is, I think you're going to agree that they're going to be like best friends.
All right.
Egon Durbin, director since 2020, co-CEO of Silver Lake. He's the one who took the original activist stake in Twitter 2 years ago.
He's a venture
He's on the
capital
boards of like
nerd.
30 things. The most interesting one to me was Unity Technologies, which is a metaverse play. They're one of the major metaverse companies.
Mm-hmm.
And he's ex-board of Skype, to the extent that anyone cares about Skype anymore.
Nope.
On the Business Roundtable.
That's it.
And he was a Georgetown grad.
All right.
Elon isn't on the Business Roundtable.
I think Emma's correct here. Elon would spit at the Business Roundtable.
Yeah.
A group of CEOs getting together and talking about policy. Elon's like, fuck that. I got 33 million followers. I just say it out loud and it becomes policy.
Damien.
I think Damien's. And now
the good news here is that the good news here is that there's no actual winner in this game because how do you
there is a winner. It's me.
Oh, there will be.
End.
Okay.
And now is where Emma collapses into a heap because Martha Lane Fox.
Yeah, that's true.
Director since 2016. She's a founder of Lucky Voice Group, co-founder of lastminute.com, where you can get like last minute hotel reservations. But House of Lords. She's a UK person, Oxford, and she has history degrees. There's no way someone with Oxford history degrees is a
I
must.
still feel okay about it, actually. I think it's gonna be okay.
I think if you really look at her bio closely, I don't know if you're gonna find it. Oh, I just can't see them in the same room being comfortable with each other.
Lastminute.com. I don't know.
Do you really think Elon Musk? I mean, let's be real. Do you think he has women in his like inner circle of? Honestly,
yeah,
Emma,
Grimes.
do you really stop it? Do you really think in his business inner circle he confides in women? He's like at the Mike Pence of the business world. He can't be alone.
But it doesn't
with a woman
matter.
in a meeting.
It doesn't matter if he hates women or like won't have women in his inner sanctum.
Matter?
Think about like the Kathy Woods of the world. Like they are unafraid to.
That's true.
She's a unicorn.
Yeah.
No, I think you're.
Next up is Omid Kordestani.
Oh yeah.
Director since 2015, former executive chair of Twitter. He's ex-Google and ex-Netscape once upon a time. Netscape was a thing. I don't know if you're old enough to remember Netscape, Emma. Yeah, but Netscape was a thing. He's also done 3DO and HP on the board. Electrical engineer from San Jose State and Libertarian U. You don't think that they sit around and they're the only two electrical engineers on that board and they talk to each other? Because
is Musk an electrical engineer?
He's an engineer, right?
Yeah.
Like he's an ex-engineer. So you don't think the two of them are like, these other fucking idiots, jerk offs, can't build anything. We're the ones who build stuff. Although that said,
I bet they feel good about that.
He was the head of business development everywhere.
Parag is also an engineer.
Yeah, but I'm excluding him because he's
okay. Well, I gotta tell you,
do whatever Musk says.
Omid is a good case here. Here are my keywords: Google, Stanford. I mean that's a, and he's a former executive chair at Twitter, and I'm guessing maybe he's still a little pissed off that he's not still the current executive chair, right? He's been displaced by co-CEO of Salesforce, Brett Taylor. So Omid seems like a incredible target for a BFF for Elon. Really incredible.
A little bit of angst.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. There's my soundboard back up and running. All right. Next up is.
I didn't hear anything.
You didn't hear it?
Nope.
I heard it.
Keep going.
Dr. Fei Li.
Yeah.
Now, you wouldn't think much about Dr. Fei Li. She's a new director.
Yeah.
But she is the inaugural Sequoia Capital professor. That's right. A professorship sponsored by a Silicon Valley
Don't say
VC
sponsored.
firm.
Say bought by.
And she's a professor at Stanford. Libertarian.
She's got a great background for Elon.
As a like bought sponsor.
This might be his actual sister.
Co-director of the Human-Centered AI Institute at Stanford.
Not creepy.
Yep. Ex-Google, Princeton, and Caltech. And she's the co-founder of AI for All.
Oh, God.
Okay, well, the
she's
AI
like
for All.
years
Dr.
old.
Lee.
Like, she's like, actually, that's not true. She's like our age. She's young for the board and highly accomplished.
She was also the director of Stanford's AI lab.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yes,
and I will say that the AI for All, it sounds creepy, but it's actually a nonprofit dedicated to increase diverse human representations in the field of AI. So maybe it's good. Or maybe that's just bluster. I can't tell on that one. But she seems the right type of creepy for him.
Yeah.
If you're into AI, it's a whole world.
Yeah, this is the proper this is the proper creep. Google, Stanford. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, another perfect.
Next up is Patrick Pichette, director since 2017. He's from a Canadian venture firm. No one cares about it. He's the ex-Google CFO, so there's more Google. Bell Canada, McKinsey, something called CallNet. He was a philosophy master's at Oxford and a business bachelor's at the University of Quebec. I'm going to go with no one cares about Canadians.
Well, okay, you might be right,
especially French Canadians.
But the Google, of course, there's Google, which is interesting, and I'm thinking
in there. He doesn't fit.
I'm wondering if this master's in philosophy might be good for Elon in the sense that you're going to need those types when you're discussing how AI will take over the world, right? Like you're going to need a new.
But Elon doesn't want to think about that. That's like last on Elon's priority list.
Right, but Pichette, I don't know. I could see them late night, like enjoying some brandy and some gummy weed, and I don't know, like pondering the future of the AI overlords on Mars. I don't know. I just see this. There could be a kinship there. They're both foreign nationals.
We're going to Rosenblatt next.
Could be.
David Rosenblatt is next, director since 2010, the longest running director left on our list.
Before you get going on Rosenblatt, there's no way there's any Google or Stanford in his bio. I'm just saying there's not a chance.
Oh, no, there's no chance. He's the CEO of actually firstdibs.com, which is apparently an online luxury market because
I love that.
Nothing says luxury like I got dibs on that thing. Also, ex Google. He was part of DoubleClick and got bought by Google, and then he spent some time at Google. East Asian studies at Yale, so he's one of those Asian fetish people, and MBA at Libertarian University.
I don't believe it.
And finally, Bob Zoellick, director since 2018, chair of Alliance Bernstein's board, Temasek's board, Harvard senior fellow, Goldman Sachs Illuminati, ex-U.S. government, State Department, Trade, Treasury. and deep Harvard ties. All Harvard
Yeah,
educated.
he's an
all Harvard
outlier
ties.
on this
He's
board.
a Harvard guy.
And you're missing the lead here. He actually had a BA from Charlie Munger's most hated college.
Swarthmore.
Yeah, so this guy is a true outlier. I mean, they're probably already writing out his resignation speech right now because they don't want him around.
So he's the first one to go.
Yeah.
But who do we think, based on the bios, is kissing Elon's ass?
Well, what do you mean kissing? Like, so who's going to align? Okay, so here's the question that
Who's
we
gonna align themselves
postulated.
with Elon. Elon comes in, this board is going to get disrupted, right? Like,
Right.
you don't take a 9% stake in a company unless you want something out of it.
This is what we talked about in pre-production. Yeah, exactly. Is what can become of this, and what can become is the beginning of a kind of a proxy battle, a takeover battle, an old-fashioned raid on Twitter. And he is going to need numbers on the board. That's where this game came from, right? We're trying to figure out how he's going to build his friendships and just blow up Twitter.
Who's his first friend? Now you know a little bit about these people. Who's his first friend?
I have two choices that I think are shoo-ins for me. I think it's going to be Omid Kordestani, because there's still a little bit of hard feelings there. Google Stanford connection. And I think Dr. Fei Li, because she's got the AI Stanford background. I think they're gonna take over the world together. Elon and Fei.
There's your trifecta: Elon, Kordestani, Dr. Li. Emma,
that's my choice. Yeah,
I'm gonna agree with Omid Kordestani, but I am going to diverge from Dr. Li for a couple of reasons. One, she's a doctor. She's educated. She's not going to like the fact that they are, but she's not going to like the fact that Elon dropped out of his Stanford PhD program. Like, he doesn't actually have the qualifications.
Ooh, the dropout versus finished question.
Yes.
I don't like this.
There's that. And I don't know, the fact that she is a professor, even if she is a bot professor, she's still a professor. And that is also pretty far off from Elon land. And she's also advocating for diversity in the AI. So I'm just not convinced, despite the fact that they seem to be aligned on the surface. I think that they would argue about certain aspects of it. I'm not convinced they would vibe. So I am also still gonna stick with my girl, Martha Lane Fox.
Stop.
Wow.
First of all, she's a woman. She's a woman. Second of all, you're nuts. You're absolutely nuts.
Well,
it doesn't matter if he respects her. It's all about him, like, getting people on his side, and she might line up.
There's something you both overlooked that I'm surprised.
Yeah, go ahead.
Damien, you overlooked. This is really square in your wheelhouse. Is this the most co-CEO heavy board you've ever seen?
Well, who is the other co-CEO?
Brett Taylor is co-CEO of Salesforce.
Who else?
Egon Durbin is co-CEO of Silver Lake. There's two co-CEOs.
That helps Musk too, because I think Musk can manipulate those waffly types better. I
mean, this is basically a board full of people who need another CEO, like a stuffy in bed when they go to sleep. This is like really co-CEO heavy. I've never seen that.
Can you do the math for me, actually, Matt? Like, I'll be honest with you. I think it's going to be a full libertarian. Okay, so here was my horrible, creepy question I had before the show: is how long before Elon reinstates Trump to Twitter? Because Musk, he's on top of his libertarian podium, his milk crate there. So do the math for me. How many of these people are Stanford? Because this is what I actually think. I think it's going to be a Stanford sweep. It's going to be a libertarian, like, power, whatever, not trio. What do you call it? Power. How many are there?
There are, I believe there's 4 of them that are Stanford.
Okay, that's it. Okay, well, those will be his peeps.
Those are they're going to be his starting peeps. It might actually just be 3. It depends on if you count someone who didn't learn at Stanford but is at Stanford. It's 4 if you include the doc.
And Parag, don't forget Parag Agrawal, current CEO. Yeah,
he's
Stanford educated,
ex-libertarian. But the answer is not at Stanford. The answer is in round 3 by the numbers. So here are our numbers.
Yeah.
Jack Dorsey remains the most influential person on this board still. We estimated that he had 38% of the board influence. If you wonder what board influence is, we're using actual stats about these people to tell you how influential each board member is. We did it for every board in the entire world.
Yeah, this is true.
This is true. We have it for all the boards. You want to talk to us about it, you can. Ari is doing it right now as we speak.
And Matt, I can tell you, I can tell you this is not just because I helped build it with you, but I can tell you that absolutely Jack Dorsey has the most influence on this board. I'm just saying, anecdotally, when you look at this list, it doesn't surprise me that you say that number is 38% because, without a doubt, I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to stay on the board, but he has got to have the most influence here.
As ex-CEO, as founder,
as Jack Dorsey, he's a legend. He's a star.
We ran these processes. We have clients who actually use this. We ran it by some stewardship teams, like major places, and they agreed in their conversations, anecdotally, they talked to these boards and they said, yeah, that's true. That person is the most influential.
We know what we're doing.
Our numbers are not lies. We don't lie.
How
That's
dare you?
the takeaway. Free flow.
Although I think Emma lied and she thinks
Damien called Matt a liar earlier.
Yeah,
right.
He did.
I'm confused and a little bit drunk, but I'm sober now. I think Emma's a liar when she says that Martha Lane Fox, with a degree in modern history at Oxford, is going to be Elon Musk's best friend. I think Emma's a big fat liar.
In fact, Martha Lane Fox is the least influential on our board, according to our numbers.
The question was not about influence. It was about Elon support.
Yeah,
that is correct.
Stick to it.
Egon Durbin is the second most influential on the board at 12% of the board's influence. And that means if Egon and Elon align, first of all,
I like that sound. That
Elon,
sounds
Egon. Would be the most ridiculous name match ever. But that would be a power. Beautiful. That would be a serious power couple.
That's a power couple.
Second of all, they're actually the influence. It might be a battle. It's not like might not be a happy love fest.
They watch Succession. So it can be battles.
Emma might be right that Martha Lane Fox may be there saying well, I got to suck up because otherwise, I got nothing to do on this board.
True, that's true.
Me anyway.
Like in the Parliament,
but
right? Like you
the
align
answer,
with
it all comes together for Omid Kordestani.
Yeah,
he has some influence, but not too much. 4% of the board's influence by our estimation. He is connected to Musk already in just 2 phone calls, 2 different ways. Kordestani's on the board of Vodafone with Renee James, who sits on Oracle's board with Larry Ellison, who's on Tesla's board.
Sure, I'm on
and
the board of
Kordestani is on the board of Vodafone with Crispin Davis, who's on GlaxoSmithKline's board with James Murdoch, who's on Tesla's board. Kordestani makes 2 phone calls. He gets directly to Musk without any problem. Also, Elon and Omid have this OG connection in Silicon Valley. Remember when the internet sucked? Because Elon was at PayPal with Thiel at the beginning and Omid's at Netscape for a while. Or, hey, Mark Andreessen? Elon was at PayPal and eBay when Andreessen was on the board. Omid was at Google, and there's a connection there. So Omid's got it all together. Omid is going to be perfectly aligned. And you throw in a dash of, I'm angry, I'm not chair anymore. And you've got yourself one very welcoming Omid Kordestani, who's the big suck up for Elon Musk. So watch that. The prediction here at Free Float Media is Omid Kordestani embraces the incoming Musk regime. Totally. And he ends up coming out of this with more power than you thought. That's the prediction.
Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if Parag Agrawal is not aligned with this group. I wouldn't be surprised in 2 years' time if Omid's not the CEO of Twitter, because it might come to that. It might come where Elon is like the puppet master here. Who knows? I don't know that Parag signed up for this. This has got to be the worst parental leave in the history of the Fortune 500. I mean, you never
the worst time.
I mean, it's got to be your baby's throwing up on you, and then your ownership table's throwing up on you, right? I mean, I can't think of a worse person to step in. It's just got to be frightening.
Last but not least, there is a long shot here, and it's also Damien's long shot, which is Dr. Fei Li.
Well, come on,
and here's why.
Yeah.
Rolf Botha is an MD at Sequoia Capital who bought her professorship. Guess what? Botha's part of the PayPal mafia with Elon.
Yes.
They know each other also.
Yeah.
The person who bought the professorship also is friends with the guy who's buying the company. So it all came together. No offense, Emma. It all came together for Damien this time.
But you're really looking at something. I mean, this is important sort of in the prehistory of our colonization of Mars, because Twitter is now the de facto social media network of Mars. I mean, this is all, don't forget the long-term play here, right? I mean, Elon is not taking over this enterprise for no reason at all, right? I mean, there's things churning, and you need a Dr. Fei Li to help you get there. You need her brilliance. Yeah, I agree with you, Emma. I agree with you, Emma, that she's not necessarily going to gravitate to him immediately, but soon they're going to realize how much power they have together. Elon needs her, absolutely. But you're right to point out.
Does Dr. Li care?
But she's gonna care because if she's on the Twitter board, I'm guessing she likes her power oatmeal as much as anybody else. But I don't know. This is just my prediction. Yeah.
All right.
This is all why, to wrap up the show, because I don't think we need to go another 40 minutes on this. This is why, actually, when you read that Elon Musk takes out a stake, it's not that he took out a stake. This is the game of twits, people. You don't just buy a bit of a company and then you own the bit of the company. You actually have to massage the people on the board and in management to do the thing that you want them to do. You either massage or you bully them. And knowing half the people on the board really helps to get your shit done. So this is why don't read the headline and think, oh, he's buying the social media company because he said he was interested in one and he wants unfettered conversation with, no any sort of censorship from the evil government powers or the liberal whatever. No, this is about people. He bought a bunch of people, and they're going to suck his ass. That's how it works. That's all we got. You got anything else?
Before you wrap up, it is interesting to add here. We don't come across this very often on this show. Is that he, first of all, disclosure on these types of share purchases are not immediate. He's actually owned these shares since the middle of March, and that whole tirade he did on Twitter about whether Twitter was adhering to the principles of free speech and what should we do about Twitter. This was after he bought a 10% stake in the. Right. So, I mean, this guy is truly a creepy 9-year-old troll. He's always up to nefarious things. He is the perfect guy to colonize Mars in that sense. In the making a movie about, creepy villainous billionaires taking over planets. He really is he's perfect. He's perfect. Anyway.
He's a perfect supervillain. And if only he had alopecia, he'd be like the perfect supervillain. But unfortunately,
well, you didn't you just send us an article that maybe he does? That he got hair transplants?
Emma looks like she wants to walk on stage and
that was Business Pants. I am Emma Lurking. That was Damian Rawless and Matt Moscardi per usual. I'm gonna wrap this up now because I'm bored and don't want to listen to Matt's BS anymore.
Oh.
We will be back tomorrow.